Alright, here's a very interesting hand. Under the gun opens with just a min raise, so I have suited jack, king jack, and that is a raise because you could win the hand outright, and then you have possibilities. So I get a caller and a small blind who just cold calls a 3-bet, and that's not good play. You should never do that in a small blind. He's just set mining. Okay, so on the flop, everybody checks, and I should check because I have only barely a bluff catcher, and it's 3-handed, and I'm even third pair now. And let's say I face a bet on the turn. Let's say here the ace deuce, which this guy has, bets. Then I don't know if I should call. We should ask Snowy. So we'll come back to that question at the end. So let's say he bets quarter pot. I have a jack as barely a bluff catcher. I should call a quarter pot due to the fact that I still have some equity if a 10 comes. And my plan before asking Snowy would be to call the quarter pot and then reevaluate on the river. If I miss my straight and I face any kind of pressure, I'm gonna let it go on the river. That is my plan. If I do call the turn, quarter pot. Half pot, perhaps fold into, because there's still one more player to act behind me. They could be bluff catching with a ace, just like actually this guy is, ace deuce. So, or even a queen. So I'm way behind if facing a quarter pot. Facing a half pot. But at least I have a plan that if it's quarter pot, well, I'm formulating the plan now. I didn't have it at the time, but I'm doing the work off table. Quarter pot, but call it in position, reevaluate on the river, and I just hit the gin, and nobody bets, so I value bet, and this guy makes a very disciplined fold. So we have some questions for Snowy, and alright, so let's look at the actions. He should raise, but he should fold to my 3-bet. Even ace queen suited is a fold for the ace deuce. So that's very interesting. You're facing several players, and so Snowy advocates a pretty tight pre-flop range from out of position. So he actually makes his ace, and he does not bet. If he bets there, I would definitely call. But the question is, on the turn, what I should do if I face, because everything else is alright. Everything else, everybody played just fine. And I'm actually quite impressed that he makes a disciplined fold here. So let's ask about a turn bet. Player 4, copy scenario, half pot, bet. Okay, Snowy says half pot is a fold because I have this guy behind me who might call, and I'm just way behind. The 4 out is not enough protection here, so to play correctly, calling would be suicidal. There's not enough protection. not enough. It's just a bad run out. The run out is just a bad run out. But let's say he bets quarter pot. I think it's still gonna be a fold. No, quarter pot is a call, so I was correct. Quarter pot is enough equity, and the pot odds are still in my favor. I could win with jack. I could win with another. Actually, I have two outs on the jack, 3 outs on the king. Although a king would be bad because a king would make any 10 a straight. So you don't really want to count that as an out. So you have 2 outs on the jack and 4 outs. You basically have 6 outs because a king is not an out. And jack of heart might not be an out. 10 of heart may not be an out. So it's dicey. See how when you think deeply, you think you have something, but in game theory, which in the math part of it, the math actually says I should fold to anything larger than a quarter pot, and even this is close. 0.96 EV, okay. But I don't really have that many outs. 10 of hearts might not be good. Jack of hearts might not be good. And king, the 3 kings, that's even worse. So it's really dicey. But I have some EV, 9.6. So that's very interesting.